My Gavan and Melanine, and well met, indeed. I'm Arachir Galadirthan, the head of the modding team behind Divide and Conquer, and welcome back to Divide and Conquer as we continue on as the free land of Breeland. Breeland forever! We are continuing as Bree. Now, of course, allow me to just address the long gap. I left a video some days ago of our Discord channel, inviting you all to join it, and informing you I would be away on the Isle of Wight on a camp. I returned, but I got virtually no sleep, and I have had no energy whatsoever, so I didn't do the 2 recordings I was going to do the days after I got back. So I let myself have off until now. So here I am. You'll be pleased to note that only 3 people very impatiently asked if I was either dead, or when's the next video going to be, or my personal favourite, still waiting, Arachir, still waiting. But I am, of course, here. And I will be continuing with Bree, then Rune, and then I hope to, given the vast amount of changes since the last one, do a developer diary for this coming Saturday, and touch wood, I can't give you promises, but touch wood, I hope to give you a lore video finally next week. It is my plan on my luncheon next week and the days throughout the week to make notes on hopefully a couple of subjects and give you some lore videos in slightly quicker succession because it's been a huge gap since the last one. And I must confess a large part of that is a lack of desire. Streetcar named Desire. I've never read that, but I believe that the children are reading that for studies nowadays in school. Anywho, playing as Bree. It's been a long time, can't really tell you what I'm doing. Oh, we've taken Yakthak's grave, that's good to know. Dunland are therefore going to be under the cosh somewhat. Angmar are being pushed way back, and we are closing in on the ever exciting moment that we side with the Dunedain. Thus eschewing our own personal freedom and taking on the role of essentially the military wing of the Dunedain. We provide the bodies, they provide the armour and training, and together we will rule this Middle Earth. But for the moment, I think we're at an end turn. Our allies in Enid Wythe, if I remember rightly, are actually being crushed quite heavily by Isengard, and we will soon be up against them on our own. However, in the north, as I say, Angmar's decline is coming soon, with the Northern Dundai being able to hold on for so long, and with both Linden and Ered Luin bordering Angmar, it's only a matter of time. So, allow me to repeat once again that to see the new Fornost map and the new Anuminas map... Well, Anuminas I'm not going to show you, as I may have said before, because we're actually... it's still in the works, is a newer version of it. So, the campaign strategy model you can see right there, and you can go to town with that for now. These are the old ones. You'll never even see that in your game, because even that will change. So, I probably won't do a... Well, I might, just to show it off, because Arcade did work it. But I think I'm at end turn. I've babbled long enough through the endless screams and inane babble. They were able to discern 2 words. Ah, dear. End the turn. Press the spacebar. Now, I can also inform you some little bits about my life. I'm thoroughly enjoying at the moment Fallout 4. I'd already previously played it to about 180 hours in the base game. I'd gotten almost all of the achievements bar 4. And they were minor longevity ones. I shamelessly... I love the Brotherhood of Steel, and I only ever want to play as them. So I basically rushed my way through the Railroad and the Institute quest lines just to get the achievements, which is a bit sad. But now I'm playing again with the benefit of years' worth of mods to throw in there, and I'm having a right blast with my M14 rifle. But to just bring us back to the present, Cliff, who is currently trying to return to our heartland with refugees, has been attacked by Captain Ulf. He's outnumbered almost 2 to 1. But we will stand against them. Now watch us drive. And I don't know about the rest of you. Surely I am in a minority, but I have not yet watched any Game of Thrones except for episodes 1, 2 and 3 of series number 1. And every single man, woman and child I know of and their dog is currently talking about Game of Thrones, and my god, is it boring to listen to them drone on. It's absolutely ridiculous how many people are talking about Game of Thrones. You know, when you're just standing in the room silently whistling to yourself or looking at the colouring on the wall and thinking, oh, that's a nice shade of blue, isn't it? While everyone else around you talks basically to what is you, nonsense. Now, I'm not suggesting Game of Thrones is bad. I'm sure I'll watch it and I'm sure I'll enjoy it, but I've just not watched it to this point, and so I am frequently finding myself amongst my friends just twiddling my thumbs while they all talk about something random that I'm not privy to. So, to those of you who also have not seen it, I know your pain. Right, I think that'll have to do. It's the closest to a hill we're going to get. Start the battle. Do you know what the thing that grates me most with Game of Thrones? I was saying this to my family at dinner yesterday. Is because some of my, in inverted commas, coolest friends, right? Back in the day when I was really living up Lord of the Rings, back at the time when I was learning Sindarin, I mean, I've mellowed out somewhat now. I find it very enjoyable and it's an interesting hobby, but I'm not as forthcoming with my nerdiness, shall we say. But back in the day when I was, and I throw words around like Noldor and Erebor, Thorin, things that interested me, like Elves of the First Age, all sorts of things. Dorloman. I was always very fond of Glorfindel. I like the stories of Gondolin. I'm throwing these words around and people are laughing at me for merely knowing these words. And now I see people who are, as I say, some of my coolest friends, who are using words like foundling, or... It's literally the only example I have for you because I know nothing about it. Or, oh, this White Walker nonsense. And they're talking about it in conversation like it's totally normal. And it's like, no. You don't get to say those words. You didn't suffer through the years of sci-fi and fantasy being not mainstream. You didn't suffer through the grueling hardship that was those years where we were laughed at for liking Lord of the Rings and only nerds would apparently like things like that. But now, apparently, throw some porn into your fantasy and the whole world loves it. So now it's totally normal to say all these things. And now I'm the weird one because I haven't yet seen Game of Thrones. So yet again, I'm now being ridiculed, but this time for not being nerdy enough. And I find myself irritated at this little feature of life. I feel like they haven't earned it. They haven't earned the ability to walk around saying, "Oh, how cool is this fantasy thing?" It's like you don't know. You're pretenders. But I mean, go for it. I mean, I'm not duty bound to sell Lord of the Rings things or anything like that. I'm not a die-hard Lord of the Rings fan. I'm not going to tell you that. Well, I am, but I'm also a rational human being, so I'm not going to tell you that Lord of the Rings is objectively better and everyone should burn in hell for not enjoying it or anything. I mean, I'd like to think that I am, to use a particularly snobby word, enlightened, or to use a slightly better word, just, as I say, a rational human, and not totally blind to the ways of life. I understand the meanings of the word objective and subjective, and I understand readily when subjection applies, although subjection isn't a word, but when being subjective applies. So, there we are. I'm going to moan about Game of Thrones for you. I'm sure when I watch Game of Thrones, I will love it. But at the moment, it's just, now that because I've not seen any, it's now way too much of a time sink for me to really be able to dedicate to it. And also, I just like Lord of the Rings too much. There's still so much about Lord of the Rings I don't know. This is what it's difficult to explain to people. All of my family love Game of Thrones. I have 3 sisters. They all have partners, and they all love Game of Thrones. My parents also enjoy it, as does my own girlfriend. So that is, for those of you with good maths, sorry. That is 9 people constantly telling me to watch Game of Thrones. But I don't know everything about Lord of the Rings yet, and I want to know everything about Lord of the Rings. So I don't feel like I can abandon it at this stage for Game of Thrones. I know that sounds weird, but that is kind of how I feel. I'm the kind of person that likes to finish a task before I move on to a next one. And it's the same with my likes and dislikes. Which is why I play games in cycles, actually. It all fits. Because I will play that game until I no longer feel I'm getting any benefit or reward from it, and then I will swap. I very rarely play multiple games at once. I will dedicate all of my free time to one single game, and when I then am finished with that game, I'll then dedicate time to a different game, and it just goes in that kind of cycle forever, almost. Oh, by the way, just a side note, I don't think we're going to win this. I readily expect we're going to lose this. I mean, I'm going to try and use the cavalry as best I can. Oh, although we're getting some routing. I look, we're getting actual routing. We're getting some really good routing. Chase them down. Do not let anybody come back to this. We might win. We might win. Have faith. Come on, man. Run faster. Jivvy everyone up. Look at the Bree militia standing strong. Keep going, my brave lads.
Only half the enemy force remains.
You didn't charge in there very well, did you? Greenways. Now you're done. Come round and get another charge in. Oh, they are going. You catch them. You go over there, then turn around and hit them in the back. Go and assist them. You go and assist them. No, I think we probably have got this. Those berserkers are ruining our huntsmen, though. Swing round. Sweet chariot. Out we go.
For defeat seems almost certain. We've lost half of our men.
Where's their general? Which one's their general? We've got another rout. Catching the routing people is very important at this point in time.
Pray something changes in the course of battle.
There we are. Catch as many of them as you can. Dunherds, pull out.
For the moment, the
yes! Dunherds are fighting to the death.
Let's pray it remains. The battle is very much in our favour. Victory will be ours.
I think we've got them. Yes! Capture as many as you can. Don't let them escape. Here we are. How many's left? 97. Call it a day. Heroic.
Utterly vanquished.
Yes, Cliff!
Let all who remember this day remember it as the day of our most glorious victory.
Jesus, Greenway Cavalry. My God. They killed 449 and they caught 155. My word. That's very good. That's some real good performance. I'm looking forward to bringing a developer's diary, actually, because we've got some quite nice changes. Erod Lewin have got a new unit. Enid Wythe have had a unit redone. They look slightly different. Hopefully by the time Saturday rolls around, there'll also be a nice new unit of Angmar to show off for you all. Which is looking good, Hummingbird. And the big one is canned. Of course, I've said I'm not going to do a Candish overview. Oh, God. Right, we actually try and use our army a bit better. We might win this too. I'm not going to do any more faction overviews until version 2 is actually released. And upon the release of version 2, I will then probably delete almost all of the current overview videos from my channel and replace them with one dedicated video that is actually accurate at the time of it going up, because I would say 90% of the faction overviews that I've recently done are outdated already, which was foolish. Very foolish. Hummingbird did say to me, actually, he said, I doubt, well, he didn't say directly to me, but he said to people who were asking for them, I doubt Galu will do any of these more faction overviews until the next version is released, because otherwise he's just going to have to constantly do them. To which I laughed, I scorned, and said, nah, I'll do it. Let's go for it. And I was wrong and he was right, basically. Team 1, you come up here slightly, and Team 2, you flank a bit more. Ah, the enemy is over there. Right. My aim here is to try and catch them in the crossfire. Move over there. Now, they're attacking us, but it is just 4 units of infantry. Now, I'm hoping that our small cavalry roster will be able to get the bulk of them. Charge down the hill. Here we go. Who did we just charge into those clan axemen? Oh, 4 spearmen, well done. Militia.
Defeat seems almost certain.
Get involved there. Square in. Come on, they have no general. Oh, I don't know. Oh, I do not know. It's not looking good. In fact, it's looking downright abysmal. Oh, everyone's routing. Just run away. Call our losses. Cut our losses. I said retreat. Poor performance on my part, but arguably we were going to lose that no matter what happened. Oh, I said withdraw. Don't you just hate this game? Go on. Bugger off. Just get past the edge.
In the course of battle, for defeat seems almost certain.
There we are. Next. Cliff got it away. The army will pull... Oh, I don't know where the army will go, actually. They might make it around Eastern Tharbad and go across the bridge to the west, and
our men
should
have
be
fought
brilliant.
long, and this defeat is a bitter drop
It's
to
over.
swallow.
Well, we killed 251, though. That's not bad. Oh, there's an interesting depiction of Eowyn. Clearly movie-inspired, though, because... Oh, no, I know. That looks like Galadriel, doesn't it? Maybe not movie-inspired. Maybe that inspired the movie, and they've just put Galadriel in a different role. But all I'm seeing when I look at that is Galadriel.
Hiding from the enemy.
Ah, they moved next to Grep's Crossing. That's alright, they'll be involved in the defence then. Why would they attack Grep's Crossing when I've just captured their capital city? This is just ridiculous.
Yes, my lord.
I can only assume if you've been sent to the middle of nowhere, it's because I want you to build a tower. Royal Tharbad has built some farming and can retrain some archers and train normal archers. Oh, yes, please. Let's get a militia armory in there. Yagthak's Grave. Retraining stuff, but it doesn't really matter. What did we just build there, sorry? Oh, a Mason's Hall. We have the same culture, don't we? Yes. Either that or... No, yes we do. We do have the same culture, so we don't need to worry about culture buildings. We could go for roads though, but then that might help them in the long run. Now, owing to the fact that this version has since been fixed, as I've said many times, but must repeat each time, the militia armory probably will not work for Yagthak's Grave if Dunland had already built it to themselves, because I set up the script slightly wrong. It was a simple fix, and Racer fixed it almost immediately, so in your versions it will work. But in this version that you're watching right now, if I take a town and they built the militia armory already, I will never be able to get any garrison troops there. Which won't really matter because we're beyond the point where we could lose now, let's be honest. So garrison troops are way out of the question, but just as a heads up. Who have we got down here? Grep himself. And who's attacking the crossing?
Come and get me.
Oh, Beast Slayers. What's in the crossing? Oh, plenty. And the army on the western side's fine. Do I have another army anywhere? Or are we fresh out of armies? Are Dunland and Enedwythe at war? I can't quite remember. Yes, they are. Come on, Enedwythe. Take Dunlending lands. Save yourselves from the coming storm of Isengard. Isengard has completely been unleashed. And it is... we don't have the strength to hold them back. I think our Hobbit army proved to us that perhaps Hobbits are not the way to go. But it should be the barracks event anytime now, if it hasn't already happened. Has it already happened? No, it has not. No, because we get watch troops, watchman regiments. I like the watchman regiments a lot. Chuck a couple more archers into the mix up there for me, please. Move them into the army that we're building just outside of Bree. Banderbrass archers are quite good, actually. Banderbrass archers are actually very good. Their melee attack is 4, missile attack of 3, charge of 2, total defense is 6, compared with hunters, who have a melee of 3, a missile of 5, granted, so it's 2 more, but they have 1 less total defense. The upkeep on the Banderbrass is slightly more, which works against them. But they can hide anywhere, whereas the woodland hunters are only adept at hiding in woods. And other than that, they're identical. But they are compatible with woodland hunters and slightly more survivable, which is so they're actually a good archer unit. Whereas almost everything else Hobbit related is a no-go really. Right, we have 2 options with our army here. Do we head south and take the town of Dunlarak, or Dunyard, whichever one we haven't yet taken? Do we head into Heartshire? And take the town of Heart. Take the town of Heart. I know what you're saying, Gallo. You're saying there's no way on earth that sounds like Heart. And it does, I'm afraid. Old English. I mean, obviously it's a bit more pronounced with the O. Oh, sorry, I'm yawning. I'm desperately trying to remember if I did have another army, but I don't. So, I'm not sure if I should move this army out or if we should let it linger there for a time. Can we train a spy? Yes, we can. I would like a spy. Get me a spy and let's go out and have a look at the surrounding lands. You gentlemen, I know I'm retraining you, but
My lord, orders. Yes.
if you could all merge with Cliff.
Forces, my lord. We shall
Oh,
engage.
Yanan. Why are you fighting back, Yanan? You're gonna die, mate. Captain Rod's coming. This battle will likely see the end of the episode.
We attack.
So all we've done is bloody skirmishes with Dunland, of all people. The wart on the underside of the boot that is Middle-earth. Start deploying. We bring with us 2 units of fresh Dunedain. There is no hope for these Dunlandings. We are also being supported by our troops, who I think are coming in from this top corner. So, perfect. There they are. I wonder if they'll try and rush me in light of the fact that we've got the reinforcements, or if they will just sit in the middle. No, they're just going to sit in the middle. So what we're going to do then is take all the archers. Have to wait till they've actually joined the map. There we are.
From such tidings does victory emerge.
Put yourselves into that formation. Make a nice long line and run. Oh, hold on. We got more to come. Oh, that's everyone. Control M, is it? Yep. I don't want those ones. Go to there. In terms of melee, we'll just take those 2. That's all we'll need. And the cav. And everyone else. The rest of you. Oh, and those. Just go there and group up. Right. All of you gentlemen. Come with me. There is a task now that must be done. You're going to go and shoot arrows at the enemy until you have no arrows left to shoot. And when you have no arrows left to shoot, you will down your bows, draw your swords, and prepare for war. For war comes to us all, whether we seek it or not. Here they come. Just keep raining hell down on them. Alright, archers. No, do as you're told. Do as you are told.
The battle is very much in our favor. Victory will be ours.
Did all of our cavalry die?
Good tidings. The enemy general lies dead. The enemy are badly
You guys hit
bloodied.
those.
They have lost half their men.
Why don't they just let me stand there and shoot them? Oh, come on, run away already. There you go. Jesus Christ. How did you go down to 93 against a horde of bloody hillmen? Get Cliff out. I forgot the Beast Slayers are cavalry, anti-cavalry.
If we
Whoops!
continue like this, we will smash the enemy.
Cliff, why are you on defensive mode? You're cavalry, mate. Victory apparently seems certain. Oh, well, let's see how they like what we're about
If
to
we
give them.
continue like this, we will smash the enemy.
Archers, stand ready. Into positions. Hold fire. Now!
The enemy
And it's over.
be awed by the victory we have won here today.
We lost 214. 214. That's bloody annoying. It's because of the Bree militia. It's alright, they're only militia. They're only militia, he says. Does not every man's life have weight? Not today. Not today. For those of you that have joined the Discord, I greet you. Hello. Willkommen. I do hope you enjoy playing some games, as we play a lot of games. So you find like-minded individuals to play games with. Hopefully, anyway, that's the plan. They've only gone to 111. Did I really have so few? I must have done. Right, you guys are just going to sit there. Grep's Crossing apparently is going to be attacked multiple times. So you guys are going to become its defenders. You can be fed some troops from this side periodically. For example, like right now. And as soon as we've got our spy, we'll head out and see what we can see. Which way is the best way to go for defeating Dunland? Who do we actually need to defeat? Angmar and Dunland, I think, are our only objectives. And then hold something like 30 provinces. We'll have a look. We'll have a little look in a moment. Work to be done that is not yet done. Work that we kind of hope for version 2. Is, of course, the potential plan to spit? We're going to spit. We're going to spit all over the rebels. The potential plan to split the rebels into 2 distinct rebel groups. So that there is one group which are the standard rebels. So if a general rebels against you, he joins the rebel faction. And the other faction would be kind of like, I don't know, tribes or something like that. Independent tribes probably is the best name. And they would own all of the towns at Game Start except for the town in the top, not in the very top. And they would act as an independent nation. They would literally be, you wouldn't be able to play as them. We'd restrict them from play. Or possibly that would be a submod as well. But they would act as an independent nation. So any town that is rebel at the start will actually potentially try and defend itself. We will test this though, because there is a very strong chance that instead of acting as one great nation that attacks everyone, they will either totally capitulate in certain areas and then build like fortress realms. I think we're at another end turn actually before I bang on about this. So the AI sometimes, if it has too many enemies to worry about, what it will sometimes do is abandon certain areas and just try and focus on one area. So there's a chance that it may do that. Alternatively, it might stretch itself really, really thin and defend nowhere. So basically abandon all of the cities at the start of the game and just be absolutely rubbish, which is another alternative. And the other option, of course, is because they will be an independent nation and we can't stop them allying with people, they might actually come to join strange alliances and help in weird ways, which is actually a side effect I would welcome. So, say for example, in some games, this random tribe nation might ally themselves with Gondor, and thus Mordor get absolutely wrecked. Or, like, they may ally with Linden or something like that, but go to war with Ered Luin and bring Linden into war with Ered Luin. Now, of course, this faction will start at war, just like the Rebel faction. They will start at war with everyone. Every single nation in the game will be at war with the independent tribe. And their relations with everyone will be abysmal. I would also potentially look, possibly, to speak with our dedicated resident scriptor and possibly look into making it so that their relations, every sort of 10 turns, the game runs a quick little script just to make sure their relations with everyone remain abysmal. That'll be something I'd be interested in doing. But we will, obviously we'll look into this faction. But it is certainly as a plan, because the hope of it is to make it so that the towns at the start, the rebel towns, actually try and defend themselves. And this is one of the only real ways we know how. So every army at the start of the game and every town at the start of the game that is not owned by another faction we will look to add to this tribe faction. Likely the name probably will be Independent Tribes or Independent Clans or something such. And we will go from there. And the only problem, of course, is that it is a monumental scripting, coding work. So much copying and pasting. Not every single unit in game would need to be added to the ownership of this faction, but certainly every single unit mentioned at the start of the game would need to be owned by this faction. And then those would be the units that they would train, I suppose. But it's a big undertaking, and it's something that it's on our to-do list to look into, so do stay tuned for that. Now, something that we're bandying around, and I am very in favour of, and what seems to be going that way with the team, is the Reunited Kingdom. In an attempt to bring version 2 to you all, not in the absolutely ridiculous future, but slightly closer future, we would hope to move the Reunited Kingdom to its own dedicated release after version 2 is released. So version 2 will come to you 7, and then the Reunited Kingdom would then be a kind of 2.1 release that would be just dedicated to the Reunited Kingdom, and possibly other little minor bits and bobs. But the problem we've got is that the version 2 is really coming along, and the words I used were healthy. It's in a very healthy position at the moment, and I would quite like to get it to you sooner rather than later. I mean, we're still not going to rush anything. We're going to make sure everything that we've put in so far is polished to the max, and there are still bits and bobs that are going to be added. But in order to make sure that it isn't going to be like 5 years away or whatever. Because let's be honest, at the end of the day, we could release what we've done so far to you right now. We're not making any money on it. We're not trying to reach a deadline or anything. But we want to make it so that it's at least polished, and that is why we wait. But it's just always been an interesting one to me. I've always thought there's nothing really. The problem, of course, is that people don't really know how to install mods, so you have to slow it down. That doesn't make sense to many of you because I didn't let you board my train of thought. Ignore that. I am going to end the episode now rather than fight Captain Guillard. Let's assume he's French. Guillard. Captain Guillard. It does not look good. Ce ne bien pas. I'm going to pause there. I shall end this episode. So tomorrow will be the return to Rune as we continue to dominate into Torwinian and Rovanian. But soon we will turn on everyone and the Rune campaign will then at least jazz up a little. And then, as I say, on Saturday, well, what for you will be Sunday, I hope to bring you a developer's diary will be the video for this week. And then there'll be Bree and Rune again. And then, as I say, hopefully next week I'll bring you a lore video. It'll be towards the end of the week. Also, towards the end of next week, for the weekend, from Friday through to Saturday, I'm in Ireland. I'm going to Dublin. So, I will try and pre-record. If not, there'll just be a couple of days off. But not a huge amount. I mean, I'll record on the Thursday. I won't get any time on the Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. So, it may well be. I can have a look into it. I'll see what I can do. But anyway, for now, that will be all. So, I am back, although it'll be a bit jittery for the next week. As I say, I'm going to Ireland, so there'll be videos here and there. And that's everything. So until we speak again, dear friends, Navarre na den per Melonin, and farewell.